Good evening, everybody, and welcome along once again to One Hub Racing Season 19. And tonight's the night we reveal who's been placed in what tier for the very first One Hub season on the F1 2021 game. I'm excited. I hope you're all excited in the chat as well. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me tonight in the commentary box, we have Matt. How are we doing tonight? Oh, I can't wait for the build up to the pre-season, qualifying night especially. It's the first time we get to see all the drivers that'll be taking part this season and where they are to begin with. It's a good starting point as well, especially since it's a new game, to see where you need to work on to meet your season's expectations. And on Friday, the drivers visited Silverstone for qualifying night. I believe the last time we visited Silverstone for qualifying night was season 15 on the F1 2019 game. We both started racing at One Hub back then, I believe, so it definitely brings us back so many memories. But I have to say, Matt, the standard of drivers that we got this season, though, is so high, so close between the majority of the drivers, even with the guys here at the bottom. There's nothing that separates them either.
Yeah, there's very little to separate them, especially on paper anyway. But unfortunately, we can't win races on paper. We have to get in the car and actually drive. But it should be a stacked lineup from the top of the top tier to the bottom of the bottom tier. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a fantastic season. So, yeah. And, yeah, I'm back. Apparently, people couldn't hear me a moment ago, but they can now. So let's just press on.
Yeah, let's crack on as well. And qualifying night, we saw two new faces at the top of the page, which could be championship contenders for season 19 and in the top tier. Now, for some people, they know who they are, and we talk a little bit more about that later on. We won't keep you waiting any longer, because I know you all want to find out who you'll be racing against this season. And I know some of the viewers that'll be watching the streams are as keen as the drivers are too. So here is how we're going to be revealing the tiers. So we'll be going in reverse order like the last few seasons. So we'll be starting with prospect tier, then points tier, then podium tier. And to make it even more tense, we'll then be revealing the top tier, which is the pinnacle tier, and then finally position tier. During each tier reveal, we'll be discussing the possible drivers to watch out for and any possible championship contenders as well. I know it's only pre-season and it's too early to tell just yet, but it's for a bit of fun too. And after all the tiers are revealed, we'll explain a bit more about what's going on in pre-season, including team contracts, negotiations, and of course a pre-season race. So chat, before we start revealing the bottom tier lineup, who is ready to start the tier announcements? I would like to see some reactions in the chat. Yes, in the chat. Some emojis as well. I would like to get some hype in there. Who is ready for the first tier to be announced for One Hub Racing Season 19? Great to see quite a lot of you in there already watching the stream. So come on, who's ready? I would like to see your emojis and yeses now. Come on, I'm not going to start until we see all of those. Are you excited to get started, Matt?
Always excited to get started. Anything One Hub is amazing. And, yeah. I might just put some stuff in the chat so we can start.
Whoop. Yeah, I'm guessing those things in the chat are saying we could get started. So now it's time for the prospect tier, which is going to be taking place every Friday night at 6 p.m. That is the first tier you will see on a Friday night. The lowest tier out of all 5 tiers, but that doesn't mean we'll be short of action this season. And just a quick note as well, before we do the lineup, we haven't sorted out the commentators for each tier. That's still in a discussion phase at the moment. So that's why in the lineups you'll see, that will say TBC. So no commentators as of yet, but don't worry, they'll be sorted in time for the season to start. So here we go then. Prospect tier, our first driver in prospect tier. Let's go with the new drivers to start with. We've got Hawkey Hawkins 96, who's a race premium driver. We've got Stephen R03 DUFC. We got G_in famous. We got Doyle 1893. We have S_Lynn Bale. Again, I apologize if I get these names wrong. We have Speedway 1234. And we have Jason 26070. So those are our new drivers in One Hub this season. who I'm glad for them to be in the prospect tier, making their debut in One Hub. Now let's go with the rest of the drivers, which will be the raced with us last season or are making a return. So, starting off with a race premium driver who was in a prospect last season, Smithy Chris 2004. We also got a familiar face who's also joining me in the commentary box, who's also going to be racing in prospect tier this season. We got Indecisive Mackie. Mackie, hello.
Hey.
We've got NRX_Storm, race premium driver. He's going to be racing in prospect this season. We got Psychic Demon 20, who was also in prospect last season, race premium driver. Another race premium driver, Matt's teammate from last season, Alex Lilliart. We got a driver from Prosper who did very, very well last season. Could be a championship contender. Also race premium driver, Waze. We got another prospect driver from last season, Fozzie Bear. We got another prospect driver from last season who's also race premium, Josh 21 Wilkins. We've got TJW 77, race premium driver, also from prospect. We've got F1_Matthias 72, who was in point last season. Well, you got myself, who was in prospect last season. Again, I'm racing this season. You can't get rid of me in prospect, can you? And we've got two returning drivers from prospect seasons gone by and from the bottom tier. We got Jamie Met 92, who was a returning driver last in prospect season 16. He's commentated for the last few seasons as well. And finally, our last driver in the prospect tier is returning face. Last was in the bottom tier in season 14 when it was podium tier. Ols 56, who started racing in One Hub Racing in season 10. So that is your prospect tier lineup this season. Now, Matt, you were tier coordinator last season. You're more than likely going to be tier coordinator this season. What do you think of this lineup?
Well, yeah, there's some drivers I know that I can battle with, some drivers that will probably leave me in the dust, but there's some unknown quantities here which, I'm looking forward to racing and see how I get on with them, but I'm sure they'll all be a delight to manage, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started, and welcome back to the returning drivers, and welcome back to everyone, and yes, welcome new drivers too.
Yeah, it's nice to have some new drivers as well, because you all have to start somewhere as well. You want to see where you are in the pecking order, and who knows, maybe we could have these drivers that you may see on the grid may go up to the pinnacle tier in the future as well. So we did say we'll pick out a few drivers to watch out for this season. Two drivers, I have to say, that was so close in getting near the front last season was the two AlphaTauri drivers from last season, Wade and TJW. I'll speak for Wade first. 8 points finishes out of 9 last season. Very, very consistent driver. 1 podium and 1 fastest lap. And he is known for some comeback drives, and we got TJW as well. He got his maiden win last season in the prospect tier, 13 points finishes overall, 1 pole with 84 points in total, and I have to say the AlphaTauri boys last season look like a formidable force this season in the prospect tier, and I think they can definitely be ones to watch this season in this tier.
Yeah, they certainly can be, and I would also say Jamie Met could well be one to watch as well. He's not raced a few seasons, but if he gets off onto a positive start, then who knows what could happen for the rest of the season, but definitely look out for him too. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the new drivers do and where we all stand, and I guess pre-season race is going to help and tell us an awful lot about that.
Information about Jamie, actually. He had 63 finishes, 54 points finishes, 1 win, and I have to say that race win that he got is still on Twitter somewhere, on YouTube somewhere, where he actually won. His reaction was amazing, not gonna lie. I wonder if he's gonna have something similar this season. 2 podiums, 1 Constructors' Championship, and 7 driver of the days. That is, I have to be insane. And actually, Jamie was teammates with Ols in season 12, and that's what Jamie called his meme season, but they had a lot of fun with each other. Ols, every finishes he had were points finishes, 27 of them incredible. Another consistent driver. 7 podiums and 223 points in total. A few drivers and people in the chat were saying some information that Storm could be a championship contender. Interesting thought, because he did brilliant to get a podium in the last race of the season in Brazil, of course. And usually if you have a good last race before the brand new season, maybe this could be the signs for things to come for Storm. Do you think, Matt?
I mean, I don't know, because it's a completely different game handling model, so he might not get on as well as we'd started to figure out the old game by the end of the cycle. So I think people were stronger towards the end, and I think that's going to be a case again. So I would like to hesitate to comment on Storm's chances at this point, but I'm sure I'll know more in a week.
Yeah, we will as well. The pre-season race will be in a week's time, roughly, in Brazil, which should be very, very exciting. And I'm sure the commentators are going to be absolutely delighted as well. A few people saying in the chat that for me, for Drivers' Champion, no, I'm a casual driver, as some of you may know. I just want to race for fun. I'm not ready to race for championships just yet. And maybe next time, but definitely not this season. So that was your prospect tier lineup. And we're going to move on to the next tier, which is the points tier, which will take place straight up, 45 minutes after this one at 6:45 p.m. UK time on Fridays. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Matt to announce the points tier. And I do believe this is a really, really great tier, and I can't wait for him to reveal who are the 19 drivers in this tier. There's only 19 drivers, but I'll hand it over to you, Matt.
I was just checking. Yes, there seems to be 19. Yes. Anyway, I'll do the new drivers first. We have a couple of those. One of those is Rageman at 32, and another one is Enosia Andreas 98. I think that's all the new drivers in this tier. And so yeah, then in no particular order, we have Hockey 66, last season's prospect champion Kingan at 79. We have Jake W. Combs. We have Aaron JS 1992. We have Mason Jr. 54. What a driver he's been since he's joined the league. We have Speed Quinn Lawrence D 1989. You have possibly one of the best gamer tags I'll ever see. You having a giggle, mate?
Love it.
You have Andres Zenosia teammate MCFC 2020. MFC Trunders. ERT Dexter. You also have Gazaman 96, Liam JH MC12, and the other Liam. That's going to get complicated for whoever's commentating that here. 2 Liams. Hope they're in the same team, otherwise that could get really annoying. And we also have Jacko 10509, and I think the last one to reveal is Sully.
And there's a few more. Did you have Speed Quinn as well, and Zach Jarvis, who was also in the points tier?
I miss Speed, sorry.
So that is your points tier lineup for season 19, and a few familiar faces, of course, but we'll just point out a few to begin with. The first obvious one, Kingan, who was the prospect tier champion. He had a fantastic season last season. No one was really expecting him to be that dominant, but it was definitely well-deserved. He picked up quite a few wins, actually. I think he didn't finish lower than 3rd, I believe, last season, and he was 5th. I can't remember what it was, but he did sensational, and that's one of the reasons why he's here now. And this is the first time since he joined the same season as us that he's going to be in a higher tier than prospect. So hopefully he can handle the pressure of being in a higher tier and maybe aim for some points. And there's also some other prospect guys from last season as well. Of course, we've got the runners-up who just missed out on the prospect championship but moved up with Kingan. So at least Kingan is not on his own. So we could see a great fight between those three. We've got the likes of Jake and Liam. They had a fantastic battle for second in the Drivers' Championship last season. And we saw Liam pick up a few wins. Jake managed to get his maiden win in France, and that helped him secure P2 in the Constructors' Championship. And also we got Mason as well. Mason is someone to watch out for. I was very happy with Mason's performance in qualifying night. Mason, that was really, really good. He was very, very happy with it as well. He must love Silverstone or something. So, and I'm sure he's very, very happy in the chat that he's in this tier. And of course, we got Jacko, Zach Jarvis, and MCFC that also made the step up from Prospect last season. Of course, Jacko made the step up to join us again in Prospect mid last season, and already his form was there, quite surprisingly actually, from when he joined us in Monza. So is that a prize that some of the drivers are there, and what do they need to do to show us that they deserve to be in points? Because it really must be, I think it must be very, very difficult to step up in a tier which is probably really, really hard and with some incredible drivers.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for some of them. Maybe all of them, we don't know yet. It's very early days. But I think the best advice I can give them is just stay calm and do your own races at this point. There's not much between the top of Prospect and the bottom of the tier above. So I think they'll slot somewhere nicely in there, and I think they'll get off to some really good starts. But the potential there for improvement is insane. So we'll have to keep an eye on some of them. But impressive to, especially like just all the names. There should be some immense battles for the championship in this tier.
Yes, a few championship contenders, I have to say. Dexter being one of them. He was the Constructors' Championship champion with Thomas last season. We, of course, got Gazaman as well, who finished 11th last season, but one of the most experienced in this tier as well. We got Quinniff as well, Zach Jarvis to Trunders. Trunders did very well, and a few people in the management team were picking out one driver in particular, Lawrence Dean, 1989. And I have to say, he's not too bad on his day, and probably not where he was expecting. He was probably expecting to be high up, but again, since he's more experienced, he could be expected to be hitting the ground running straight away, but we will have to wait and see. So those are a few that stick to my mind. Any championship contenders from this tier that you think will hit the ground running?
To be honest, no, because I'm not really sure how everyone's handling and understanding of this game fits in. I think if this was the second or third season on the game, I'd probably have more of an idea of who may be up there, but at the moment, it's just a lottery pick at the moment. But you have to put some pressure on someone at this stage. I'd say maybe, I don't know, maybe Jake, because he's improved so much since he started down in Prospect, and it's like he could just do some quiet entertainment there and just look out for some ERT drivers as well. They always have a shot. So, yeah, that's what I'd say now.
Okay, there we go as well. So we also mentioned our race premium drivers in this tier, which is Aaron JS 1992, Kingan 79, MFC Trunders, JW Coms, Lawrence D 1989, and Anozia Andreas 98, Speed _ Quinn, Sully Mason, Zach Jarvis, Liam JMC 12, and Gazman 96. And we've got two ERT drivers of Dexter, and Jacko. So we're almost halfway there, guys. We could see the end of the tunnel. We've got 2 down, 3 more to go. Next tier is the podium tier, and that will be at 7:15 UK time on Fridays. And it's the middle ground, which was probably one of the closest tiers last season, I have to say. Again, that went down to the wire, and a tier which I was quite jealous that Mr. Evil Dragon was commentating on last season. But there we go. So let's move on to the podium tiers. So let's start with the new drivers. There we go. So we've got PXTR-Dax. We've got Kavadi. We have got Redmat. And we have got KPP3099. Those are our new drivers. And for our returning driver, we have got Dynastics30, who was in a pinnacle in season 17 and is looking to have a fresh step up this season. This qualifying night wasn't good, but he's hoping to hit the ground running from the get-go. Now, we said our returning drivers and our new drivers. Let's look back at our drivers from last season that are in podium tier this season. We've got Kian, who was from position last season. We got Apex Rogue, a race premium driver, was in podium last season. We've got ERT Jordan, who is an ERT driver. He was in points last season. We've got Cam K Mum 153, who was in podium last season. We've got Rich 500, a race premium driver, as well as Cloudy Balloons, both podium tier drivers. Both race premium drivers also in position. We've got Kiers F1 and Salty Bear. A race premium driver from the podium tier last season, we've got Kong Hoffner. We've got Vitinho, who was from position last season. We've got ERT Thomas, ERT driver from points last season. And don't forget, he was the points champion from last season. So interesting to see how he does the step up. We got a KK21 race premium driver from podium last season. We got Aero Specialist from points last season. And finally, we have Tech_31 Racing, who was race premium driver, and he was from podium last season. So that was your podium tier for this season. And again, I do believe we have 19 drivers in the podium tier. I'm very, very excited for this one. Again, another close tier, I think, Matt.
Yeah, it looks close. I mean, you've had some that have had experience in higher tiers in the past, and they're down into the middle tier, so that could definitely help them out. But also, you've got people from coming from slightly below, and there's just all kinds of driver pairings that could happen here. It all depends on when they apply to the right teams and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot that could happen, and this is potentially one of the tiers to watch out for again.
Yeah, exactly. And I've noted down a few people from podium that would potentially challenge for the title and ones to watch out for. Again, we got to watch out for Thomas. He made a step up last season when he got the points championship, and he also got the constructors championship with Dexter in the Mercedes. He did an excellent job, and I'm sure he's going to love the challenge being in a higher tier. Jordan's qualifying night was excellent. I was watching one of the sessions, and he did a brilliant job. I was very, very happy with how his lap turned out. He did better than expected last season in points. He managed to pick up a trophy last season to finish third in the championship. That's why he's been promoted there as well. Aero Specialist, don't forget, was promoted last season. And there was quite a few people that were demoted from position to podium. That was Vitinho, Kieran, Salty Bear, and Kian. And sometimes people throw the toys out the pram and say, oh, I shouldn't be in this tier. But you got to prove us wrong. You got to prove why you deserve to be maybe in a higher tier than expected, and show that you can actually challenge for the title. Because sometimes if you're in a lower tier, you're more than likely going to be challenging for the title from the get-go. But there has been some tiers in the past where there's been ones that have been demoted from the season before. They did a great job, and then they got promoted the following season. So it is not over for the ones that have been demoted, and we shall see what happens with these guys. And don't forget, for Kieran, it's his first season on a wheel as well. That was why he was demoted to podium tier this season, and if he was on a pal, he'll probably be in the same tier as last season. But there we go. Kieran had a great season last season. Let's hope he doesn't have any spinalas, I have to say. But let's watch out for these guys in particular, the ones that were demoted, and see if they got a point to prove.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the drivers will have a point to prove, and like you say, you've got to prove why you think you should be in another tier, and there's just so many drivers that fit that bill, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what they do. Really, it should be great. And can it be next couple of weeks already, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to start now. Can we start now as well? And don't forget, we also got Tech 31 Racing Apex Road. Their main rivals are in a higher tier, so could this be the season where they challenge for the title? So we've done 3 tiers, and now we're going to move on to the big one. We usually would like to do this first, because usually if we do position first, then that kind of gets rid of the suspense, and we don't really want to get rid of the suspense. So we are going to be starting with the Pinnacle tier, which is the top tier of One Hub Racing, and that's going to be starting at 8:30 UK time. And I'm very excited for this one. Matt, you commentated on Pinnacle tier for the last 2 seasons as well, and we're going to take it in halves this time. And Matt, would you like to take us through the first 10 drivers? And I think most of them will start with the new drivers first.
Yeah, most of the top 10 are new drivers. You have Silly Sly Guy, you have Liam. Both of those are in ERT. The next one is OP Zane, and then you have another ERT driver. Under him, is OP Pia Papi and Ryder Dahl. And then a returning driver is Beast Haas, was last in Pinnacle in tier 16. And to make up the numbers, I've said one already, as I thought he was a new driver because I can't read. My eyes are old. I need new glasses. But you have ERT Josh, who was in Pinnacle. IFR Tom Robbo was also in Pinnacle, as was Netski. Both of those are race premium. And I think the next one I can reveal before you take over is ERT Nick Race Egan in Precision from last season. So, a promotion.
There we go. We got some stuff to talk about, Nick, for this season in particular, but we'll move that. We'll move that a bit later on. So we've got 10 more drivers to go, and in my half we got 2 new drivers of Nipidus. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And we've got WR_Legion race premium drivers. And we've got, let's save the returning drivers till last. So, Precision tier driver from last season has made the step up, just like Nick, the only Toma 97 race premium driver. 2 ERT drivers from Pinnacle last season. We've got Khalifa and Arnad. We've got Vienna_24, who was a race premium driver, was from Pinnacle last season. And our final driver, who was from, who did racing last season and is in the Pinnacle tier, is Konzo 1993. So if you're not returning driver and you raced here last season, your name's not called out, you probably know what tier you're going to be. But let's move on to the final 3 drivers who were returning drivers. So, next driver, another ERT driver. Yes, this tier is like mostly ERT drivers. It is ERT Samba, had the fastest qualifying night time last season. He was there for a bit last season and he had to retire for a bit because of reasons. And there we go. Another familiar face, also an ERT driver and a well-known commentator in the F1 League racing community. We have Owen Wyatt. And our final driver in the Pinnacle tier is Odems. I'm so glad Odems is in this tier. He was last in Prestige in season 13. And hopefully I haven't missed anybody. But if I have not, I'm going to get the drivers on screen anyway. That is your Pinnacle tier lineup for season number 19, Matt. Oh, this is great. Oh, I just love this tier.
Yeah, that is a ridiculously good tier. That all the tiers are good, but I think this one is probably the most stacked from top to bottom, and the most ERT drivers. But there's some unknown quantities here too. But just whoever gets to commentate this tier, I think, is going to have one of the seasons to remember for a long time.
Yes, exactly. Silly Sly Guy and Liam, championship contenders, I have to say, along with Netski as well. Those 3 definitely ones to watch out for. Netski was the season 18 champion, where he got crowned in France, and it was amazing to see the moves that he made to try and get that title. And talking about Silly Sly Guy and ERT Liam, they were so close in qualifying night, just a few Hummers in it. If Liam was a few Hummers faster, he would have been the fastest guy in qualifying night. With that's insane. And Silly Sly Guy, I've been watching him for quite a long time, and I actually had the opportunity to race him in a few leagues as well. And to be honest, he's lapped me quite a few times, and he's grown bigger and better as the F1 2020 game cycle went on. And obviously, Dexter and Thomas did pick Silly Sly Guy up in their team. Absolutely amazing stuff as well. And we got a few promotees as well. Early Toma 97 qualifying lap was superb. I have to say, I did watch his lap. He was brilliant. Finished 5th in Precision last season, and he won in round 5 in Austria. And another promotee to watch out for was Nick. Now, I have to say, he set the 10th best lap time in qualifying night, but he turned medium traction control and auto gears off. He had that on for pretty much all the seasons he's competed in. this season is the first season where he's turning that off, and he still managed to produce a very great lap time. I think it was 125.2, I think it was, which was insane. And he did put in a lot of effort to practice for qualifying night. His lap could be found on Twitter, I have to say. And definitely, he's going to be out of his comfort zone, but I'm sure the guys at ERT would definitely help him get up to speed. But I was very, very impressed with Nick's lap in qualifying night.
Yeah, there's some mighty laps that were done, but that was definitely one that stood out to me as well. But as you say, with turning off all the assists, it's like, if you can do that, what took you so long?
Exactly, Nick. What took you so long? I know the reason why you were still stuck on the automatic gears. That's fine as well. And we got Beastas as well that challenged Louis for the title as well. Someone to watch out for. Sambo is back this season as well. Great to see. And of course, we got Odem's back as well. For those of you that don't know him, he used to be VSR Marquez and used to be part of the management team. He had actually Matt's role head of media as well. He was known of having for his juicy gossip and hasn't been on the game for a while. So it's going to be a bit of a transition for him, and an interesting stat for him. 20 points finishes, 10 wins, 25 podiums, 8 pole positions, 9 driver of the days, and 226 points and 1 constructor's title to his name as well. And Oden's was the only tier Oden's wanted was the pinnacle tier, the top tier, so he's probably very, very glad, I have to say. And a few drivers are pointing out one driver in particular, and I'm about to go on to this driver, so it looks like they can read my mind. And this driver I'm about to say, he is a commentator, but he's one of the only exceptions where a commentator is actually good on the game. It's like most of us, such as me, Matt, Storm, we're in the bottom tier for a reason, and we're much better at commentary than racing. Owen Wyatt is completely different. His qualifying night again was superb. A few races he has done on the game so far, he was right up there in the top. He was battling the likes of Silly Sly Guy and Liam in the ERT race earlier on, and he was battling against Daniel Haddad as well. And he's chosen One Hub to race at for his first race back, which I have to say is pretty good. He was last in Prestige season 14. His last full season was Pinnacle season 13. And a few stats for him: 4 points finishes and 1 driver of the day, which he got in season 13. So nice to see the returning faces, and most of the returning faces are actually well known to the league as well. So good to have them back, and let's see what they can do, and let's hope the pressure does not get into their heads.
Yeah, you've also got to look out for that. The pressure is a very different animal in that tier. So you saw it with a few drivers last season. They would do well, and then they made one mistake, and then they just couldn't recover from that. And unfortunately, that could happen again. But there's a lot of headstrong people in this too, so I think that the pressure will not be an issue for most of these drivers. So bring it on. This is going to get juicy.
This is going to get juicy, and if you have signed up for this season and your name has not been called out, then you probably know what tier you're going to be in this season. But we are going to reveal it anyway and give the position tier the same love and attention as all 4 of the other tiers, because we're nice like that. We don't just reveal Pinnacle and just scrap position. We're not like that. We're going to be revealing position, which is going to be at 7:45 UK time, and it was one of the closest tiers last season, and we saw some great battles there, and we managed to cover the championship finale, me and Matt there, which was a lot of fun. And I'm going to rest my voice for a little bit. I'm going to hand it over to Matt to reveal the final tier of the night, position tier, which is the second top tier.
Yes, thanks. And I'm going to do the new drivers first, and then I'll cover the returning driver. Yes, there's only one of them. So the new drivers first are IFRA Stefano and Battle Angel 21. Stefano is race premium, and then the returning driver was last seen in Pinnacle season 17. I think everyone knows who that is by now. It's the Janel,
and Janel's ERT as well. I forgot to put that in the spreadsheet. Right. Sorry.
Okay, there you go.
Anyway, carry on.
I guess we know who your favourite is, Jess.
Oi.
Anyhow. What? Anyway. The rest of the drivers, race premium, are Vahanen, Larkin, Glock for 495, Colin Mason, what a guy he is, honestly. Ali B, you have Lukey, White Fountain, Scorpion Hun. Lukey, White Fountain, and Scorpion Hun were last in the precision tier. Colin was last podium, as was Ali B and Pinnacle for Larkin, but Vahanen and Danestar are returning to precision. Then you have Fatality was in Pinnacle, as was Lucky 2. Casper was in Podium, or Race Premium. J-Luke was Pinnacle, also Race Premium. And Chris was Precision, so he's back in the Precision again. And you have ERT Kyle, who was last in Pinnacle. Riley was in the Precision tier, he's Race Premium. And you have JM69 was in Podium, also Race Premium.
There we go. So that is your final lineup, and that is pretty good. We got quite a few champions in this tier. One of them, obviously, is the returning precision tier driver of Danestar, looking to defend his precision tier crown as well. Of course, we got Casper, who's made a promotion from Podium to Precision after winning the Podium tier title last season, and he's also got JM69 and Colin for company, who finished second and third respectively as well. And let's talk about these drivers first, who have either got a point to prove with defending their position tier title, or got a point to prove with making the step up from Podium to position tier. I wonder how these guys are going to fare, Matt.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to fare as well. I mean, from what I've seen in pre-season, some of them look like they're going to cope very, very well indeed. But of course, when the season starts, things turn around really quickly for some drivers that were struggling in pre-season, perhaps find another gear, and those that were already at top gear struggle to find more. So whatever happens, I'm sure this will be one of the closest precision battles that we've seen in recent seasons. So bring it on, because this is going to get good.
Yeah, exactly. And a few people are probably having deceiving eyes at the moment and wondering why Lakitu is up there and not in the Pinnacle tier. Now, this is the first season in One Hub Racing where he has turned off no assists. And he's done that in PSGO, I think, last season, but he never did that in One Hub. He kept to his word and just run, I think it was line last season at One Hub Racing. But he's going on no assist. Now, his form with no assist is not great. That's why he's here. But maybe he's something that he could get used to. And then if he gets back up his form again, then we will see him again one day in the Pinnacle tier as well. So hopefully we'll see. And also we've got Glock as well, who was good on this day. But I have a feeling Glock would do better in the precision tier. And of course Larkin as well, who's got quite a few podiums to his name. I'm going to say Larkin, would be a championship contender as well as Danestar. But another driver that we haven't mentioned, Verhanen, he was an unknown last season. He wasn't quite there the season before, but last season he was amazing. One of his strong performances was in Singapore, I have to say, where he was incredible. And he was near the front. If he didn't have a DNF, I believe, in France or Russia, then he would have been challenging for the title. That's how close it was. So I think obviously Danestar, Verhanen, Larkin, I think those are the three that could be up there. Glock on his day if he does well. Maybe Kyle too, and Janel. Don't forget Janel was in position. I think we've got plenty of championship contenders in position. I don't think we just have three in this tier. We have loads.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and there could well be some more that we don't yet know about, because, again, new game cycle, new beginnings of a new game. Everyone's not quite where they are towards the end of a game, so this could be unpredictable too. Yeah,
exactly. So that is all the tier lineups for season 19, and like we said earlier, there are 2 spaces open. One for the points tier and one for the podium tier. So if you think you got the pace to be in any of those 2 tiers and you want to sign up for season 19, make sure you get signing up right now. If you do sign up now and you're not in any of those paces, then you will be put on to the waiting list as well. And that should be interesting as well. So Yes, we'll talk a little bit about the pre-season then, because we've already done quite a few already. So sign-ups done, qualifying night done, tier announcements done. So the next stage is stage number 4, where team contracts will open. It's not going to open straight away. There's still a few things to sort out. It's going to be opening at 8 p.m. UK time, so in around about an hour and 20 minutes. So make sure you note that time in your diaries, where you can sign up for multiple teams if you want to. So you'll be able to go onto the website, and there's 3 different categories. One for the top teams, which are for people that possibly got championships and done well in seasons gone by, and they could possibly challenge that. We've got the middle teams as well, has been there for quite a few seasons, scored some points, and even if you're just there for a few seasons and got race premium, that should be enough for you to get a middle team. And then we got obviously the bottom teams. Those are mainly for the rookies, but for anyone else who maybe got higher stats as well to apply, just so they can improve. And just because got higher stats, it doesn't mean you can't apply for lower teams. You can apply for that, because more than likely you're going to get those teams. And same with the lower team, the high teams for rookies, for example. There has been some occasions where nobody's applied for that team, and there was one rookie that applied for a middle team, for example. They got it, so it is possible. So obviously we both applied for teams in the past. And do you want to give some advice to particularly the new drivers who have never been in the team contract process before, as to how you go about doing this? What is your tactic?
When I was newer here, I was just applying to the strict criteria only, because I wasn't brave enough to say I'm going to apply for Mercedes, because I didn't think I would ever get in. But now I know how the process works. Just apply for, if you're comfortable with a car, go for that car, prioritise that. But you can also apply to other teams. There's no limit on this. So just good luck with all your team applications, and hope to see you as my teammate soon, if you're in the perfect team.
Yes, and all my teammates, possible teammates, are in a higher tier, so I'm going to have to find it a little bit difficult to pick some teammates. I think I've got a few that I may want to have, so I may be approaching some of you guys tonight. So keep an eye on that on your DMs, please. That'll be lovely. And if there's any person that you would like to be teammates as well, I suggest also one advice as well is the person with the highest stat is the one that should apply for that team. Don't bother to apply for different teams if you want to be teammates, because it might be that your teammate gets one and you get another, and you can't be teammates together because you both got contracts. So if you want to be teammates, one person with the highest stats, go for it. Look at the database, which is on the Discord. Find your stats, compare the stats with each other, and that person actually applied for that team as well. And the teammate negotiations happen on the 27th of August. That is when, after the team contracts are released, and that is when the 10 drivers that got a team contract get to select a teammate out of the ones who have not got a contract. And failure to agree on that, then the head of teams, which is Jamie, who is in the chat, I know he is, will pick a team for you. And sometimes that may not work. You may have a teammate that you don't necessarily get along with. But last season, we've seen that for the likes of like Prospect, for example, in AlphaTauri, we saw, I believe, them being picked for them, and they were very, very good in the Constructors' Championship. So, and there may be some instances where you don't know what teammate you want, so you just let the other teams pick for you. That's fine. That's good, in particular if you're new and you don't know the league, well, the drivers in your tier, so you don't mind waiting. You can wait if you want. That's absolutely fine. So that is my advice. So you basically got quite a while to get your teammates sorted. You can apply for as many teams as you want. You're not restricted to just one teammate. And yeah, make sure you keep an eye on for 8 p.m. UK time. And then after that, we have got the pre-season race, which will be happening around Brazil. And just for you to get a feel for the league in general and who you'll be racing against, it is not mandatory, but if you can't make the race on the Friday, on the 27th, it is common courtesy that you must let your tier coordinator know that you can't make it. And for subsequent races after that, make sure you let your tier coordinator if you can't make a certain race. Failure to make less than 8 out of 10 races will possibly, your position in the league will be considered as well. So please make sure you do that. And then we've got the first race of the season, 3rd of September, round 1 in Australia. I haven't raced in that for a while, so it should be very, very interesting. And then we've got Bahrain after that. Then we've got Hungary, France, Singapore, Belgium, Britain, Austria, America, and Imola. Now, Imola is subject to change because we don't know if Imola is going to be on the game at that time. We don't know what it is going to be yet if Imola is not going to be there, but you'll have to wait and see on that one and see what happens. But the top 9 tracks are confirmed anyway, so we're looking forward to for you to be racing this season. And just a reminder, commentators will be decided within the coming days, and it will be announced on Twitter and on Discord. So if you want to find out who's commentating on which tier, you'll find out very soon. There's still a few tweaks I need to do for that one. And if you are interested in becoming a commentator for season 19, please DM me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is JessGames95, or you can DM the One Hub Racing Twitter account. And there's also spaces to be a commentator if you're racing for the Prospect tier, for example, and want to reserve for Pinnacle tier. And if you're racing in the top tier and potentially want to commentate for the bottom tier, there may be still spaces for that. So if you want to do that, let me know. Give me a message. Send me your previous work. I will be lucky and looking forward to be working with you if you want to. So that is it then for the One Hub Racing tier announcement stream. Thank you to Matt for joining me as per usual. It's been absolutely great. This is potentially the last time we're going to be in the same booth together, as I won't be commentating this season. I'll just be a reserve. But hopefully whoever joined you this season will be in good company with you, Matt. But thank you for joining me tonight, Matt.
Yes, no problem at all. Thanks for inviting me on, and thanks for putting up with me again. And see you on track soon.
Yeah, so for myself and Matt, enjoy your placement. Let us know your thoughts on Discord and on Twitter on your opinions on the placement, and you will be sorted into your roles for your respective chats very, very soon as well. So keep an eye out on the Discord. So we will see you on the 27th of August for the pre-season race around Brazil. Have a good evening, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and goodbye.